rope. Simple, useful, made up of many strands woven into one. So our lives. There are so many strands of our lives that are woven into the one that we are. The little joys and heartaches are the big ones. The people we love and who love us. The meals we share. The betrayals. The sleepless nights. The laughter. All of that goes into being a part of the one of who we are. And what is that? What is the core of our personhood? What is it underneath all of that stuff that lasts? Who are we at our heart of hearts? For Jesus, it seems to be that he would answer that this way. We are loved and we can love. That's what lasts. That is what is in and under everything else. I am loved and I can love, and no one can take me from that. For that is who I am. I think we've got to nurture that place, huh? We got to nurture that awareness that that's who we really are deep inside. Because at some point, everything else will get stripped away from us. Who am I when I no longer have a job? What lasts when, as some say it, I messed up really bad? Why go on when she walks out of my life? And what really matters anymore when the news from the doctor is grim? My brothers and sisters, we've got to nurture that awareness that there is that within us which lasts and which no one can take from us. That our dignity is that we can love and that we are loved. And blessed are those wise enough to stay there, because sure enough, everything else at some point or another gets stripped away. We all know those times, huh? The little dyings, the betrayals, the hatred, the illness, the failure, the 1,000 little deaths. And then the big death. Our own death, or the death of someone we love. The utter sundering, the tears that seem to come unbeckoned, and a horrific sense that the world goes on as if nothing happened while our world seems crushed. It seems that the one we love as we know them has been crushed, and along with that is crushed is our hope. We had hoped that she would have been okay. We would have hoped that she could have come home from the hospital. We would have hoped that God would have intervened. We would have hoped, and it feels that our hope is crushed. As one of my priest friends said it when his brother died, he said, "As a moth is drawn to death by light, I have been killed by hope." His 30-year-old brother had died suddenly on Christmas night, leaving behind young children. And he said, as a moth is drawn to death by light, so I have been killed by hope. So the hopelessness in the death of Jesus What happened in his death was that the promise of his life was taken from him. The promise of his life was taken from us. This was him cut by a cruelty unimaginable. And in all of that dying, all that letting go, we try to put the pieces back together, don't we? We try to get things together somehow. We try to keep going on. But now we're afraid to pull too tightly because we're afraid that maybe this won't hold. And there's some part of us which even wonders whether or not we're just deceiving ourselves, huh? Maybe we invented this. Maybe there is nothing that lasts. Dare we believe that there is something about us that is eternal or not? And then comes Easter. And we see that Jesus, who had gone to his death, is alive. And then we see that Jesus, love, lived forever. The core held true. And what is true for Jesus, my brothers and sisters, is true for us. That though we face 1,000 little deaths and the big death, love is forever. We can love. We are loved. Nothing takes that from us. No guilt, no shame, no loss, no heartache, no betrayal, no sin, not even death. And the promise of Easter is that love is forever. And that there is a life beyond this life. And while I leave behind this body that I have known, the core of me continues on strong. It happened for Jesus. It is the promise for us. And yes, there are 1,000 letting goes. Yes, there are 1,000 deaths. But Easter says that if you walk his way of love, on some level you cannot die. Because love is forever. I know that we like to think that everything's all fine and done then, and yet we all know, don't we, that the deaths will come again. The little deaths, the big deaths. The brutal deaths. And we try as best we can to put it all back together. And we'll try to find our way along again somehow. And maybe we'll wonder again. But the promise of Easter is that love is forever. And when we've come to learn to live in that place where we are loved and we can love, we've come to touch that which is eternal. You will live forever. I will live forever. For what is born between us and the power of Jesus is forever. Nice ears, dude. Yeah. So. How are you? You don't look so happy. What's the matter? What, Big Al? You're sad? Why? Grandma. Oh, you've been thinking about your grandma. You miss her, don't you? Yeah, Big Al. I think that sometimes at holidays we miss our loved ones extra, don't we? And it feels like The chain of life is broken. You miss him, and it's sad. Well, that's what it was like for Jesus on Good Friday. Oh, it was so sad, wasn't it, Big Al? And the disciples must have been so crushed and scared, and you try to hang on, but it seems like there's no hope. But Big Al, I've got an idea. What? I want you to grab one end of this, will you? All right. Okay. Watch. Hang on. Well, boys and girls, really, it's what Jesus does. It's what Easter says. Oh, it's still sad when somebody we love dies, but we know it's not the end. And it's sad when life is not fair, but we remember that we're loved and we can love, and nobody and no thing, not even death, can take that from us. It's the power of Easter that love is forever. Oh, Big Al's coming too. Oh, I know, Big Al. Whoa, yeah, Big Al. You think that's a wow? You should see what Jesus does. Cool. Go Blues. Boys and girls, yeah. I'll tell Big Al that was for the blues, not him. Okay. Boys and girls, Easter doesn't take away everything that's sad, but Easter tells us that that's not the end. Let us stand and pray.